Here's the hover. Oh, it's almost gonna hit me in the face. Line of sight, dude. Alright guys, and welcome back to another episode of Broken Image Reviews with your host, Broken Image. I bet you're wondering that this doesn't look like what's stated in the title. That's right, this is my ready-to-fly kit from Banggood I bought. This is the TinyGO 4K by GepRC. The reason why I have this on the desk is because this has been the only drone that I've flown since I got into FPV. Now, my 10-year-old son wanted to get into FPV as well. And I scoured the internet to find a good quad because he has no experience of anything. And this is a $300 quad. So I scoured the internet trying to find something in a good price range for him to fly FPV with. And lo and behold, I found something that's pretty good for someone that does not have any experience flying FPV. And that is the Cetus FPV Ready-to-Fly Kit by BETAFPV. That's right. This is the kit that our 10-year-old son got for Christmas. And like I said, he has no prior experience, and this will be his intro to FPV. So we're going to go over everything that's in this kit, and I don't know much about it. I'm not going to go into every like what the flight controller is called or all the different little technical names for everything. I'm just going to go over like a basic overview of what this kit is and why, if you don't have any experience in FPV, why you should be interested in getting this kit. So let's get right into it. All right. Now, right out the gate, I was pretty impressed with what all comes inside this ready-to-fly kit. For $189. They have a BETAFPV Cetus. I think it's Cetus is what it's Cetus. They got the Pro version, and then they got the standard version, which this one, I think the Pro version's a little bit more money. But I got the standard version. And yeah, I was pretty impressed with what comes in this kit just for it being $189. As opposed to my ready-to-fly kit I got for the TinyGO, which is $300 for the 4K version. It's a little bit cheaper if you don't want the 4K, which this doesn't have 4K. And I'll do some comparisons to my TinyGO kit and the reasons why I bought it. But if you're just trying to get into FPV and you don't know if it's for you, $189 is a pretty good starting point. So let's go ahead and open up this. I already unzipped it. Let's open up this and see what's inside the actual box. So you open it up like this, and this is what comes in the kit. So you have your goggles, and you've got your radio, your drone, and all your little extras like your straps for your goggles and all that stuff. Let's get right into it. So this is the drone that comes in this is the BETAFPV Cetus. It is a tiny whoop. It's got brushed motors. They're not brushless, so if you're flying around cats or dogs, if you've got dogs in your house and everything, these motors it would have to be cleaned very well, because the hair will get up in them and it will stop these props from spinning. So brushless, if you can find a brushless drone, that's the way to go. This is brush drones, but they do include 2 extra motors. So if you do blow out a motor, you could put that other motor on, and it'll exchange it. But yeah. So and you have right here, you got your plugs right here. It's just it plugs into the bottom of the ESC. So you unplug the plug and you just wire it, and they're color coded. You can see. So like if you have your drone pointing this way, your number 1, 2, 3, 4, your 1 and 4 and 2 and 3 are the same. They rotate the same way. So these, I think, are clockwise, and these would be counterclockwise. So your counterclockwise are the black and white cables, and your clockwise are your red and blue cables. So that's a pretty good thing to have for the drone. They color coded the wires, so that was really good of BETAFPV to do for beginners. The other cool thing about this drone for beginners is I'll show you right here. This little sensor right here. This sensor detects, I don't remember what the name of the sensor is called. This sensor detects if you're flying over a surface, it'll automatically raise the drone so you don't run into the surface. So it's perfect for beginners, so you don't fly your drone into, you know, the table or whatever and crash. So it keeps your drone in flight. So there's actually 3 modes, and I'll go into it whenever I get into the goggles. There's 3 modes of this drone. So it's they have normal, sport, and manual. And I'll go into detail on what the drones are. What the different modes, I'll go into detail of what the different modes actually mean whenever I actually put the goggles on and show you guys. So the downside to this drone is the camera is already angled up. I think the angle of this camera actually looks to be about, it's about 15% camera angle, I guess. 15 degree camera angle, 15 or 20 degrees. It's not 20. Anyways, so the camera angles, it's position you cannot change. So you can't move it down to where it's level, and you can't angle it up to where because the higher angle you have it, the faster your drone's going to go. The more horizontal you have your camera, your drone's pretty much just going to hover across the plane like that. The difference between this one and my drone right here, I just knocked over my Rubik's Cube, and my drone, the TinyGO, is the TinyGO camera. You actually could change the angle of your camera. So if you want a faster flight or if you want a slower flight. And this is 4K. This is not 4K. You can record onboard 4K on this drone. This has no way of recording any of your footage. That's another thing. These goggles don't even have DVR in them. So if you want a drone and you want to post your videos to social media or YouTube, this drone may not be for you because you cannot record any of your flights off this drone. If you get some goggles, like mine right here, you can record the DVR in them, and that's how I'm actually going to show you guys the flights in this drone, is by wearing my Skyzones, so I could show you guys how this drone actually flies around in the house here in a minute. Also, it's a 1S drone. Can't believe I missed saying that. This is a 1S drone. The battery cable right here, it's BETAFPV's own type battery cable. It's not. See, if I have one of these 1S batteries for my drone right here, these are 530 milliamp. These batteries, just dropped it. These batteries right here are will not fit this drone. Even though this is a 1S battery, the connector won't fit that drone. And I read up on these connectors, and these connectors are for a higher output from your battery. So it gives you a higher output, and it puts the power to the motors better. So I guess it's a pretty good connector, but you only can get the FPV batteries that fits it, because it's got specific connectors for the batteries. So yeah, if you want to just get any 1S batteries, it's not gonna work with this drone. All right, over here on this side, let me open that up. Over here on this side, we have the radio, which I was super impressed about BETAFPV's radio. I think BETAFPV's radio is honestly better than my radio that I got from GepRC, the TinyGO radio, the GR8 radio. That's my little sticker right there. So yeah, this radio, the gimbals, everything's fine in the gimbals. I think the gimbals feel a lot better on this radio, honestly. And this radio is actually, I think it's a multi-protocol radio. So it's like, no, it's not multi-protocol, but this could connect to D8, I think, not D16. So like FR Sky, like the XMs and stuff like that, you could use this radio for that. It doesn't have an external battery. The battery's inside, and you charge it with this little USB-C port right here. This radio also has another port right here, which is a cool feature that you could link up to your simulators. That's a simulator port. So you could use this radio for simulations, as opposed to this one. You cannot use this radio for simulations. This radio down here is specifically just for the TinyGO to fly in the air. This radio comes with these awesome gimbal protectors. I think Beta FPV did pretty awesome with that. This is a mode 2 radio. The throttle is on your left side, and you have all of these little toggles up here that they're for certain things. This is to change your modes, either normal, sport, or normal, sport. I'm just moving my camera all up and down. This is either normal, sport, or something else. No, this is what this is. This is your arm switch. My bad. I was trying to tell you guys something totally different. This is your arm switch, and this changes between normal, sport, and manual. So this changes your actual flights, how your drone operates in space. So yeah, that's what this is. And whenever you start flying, you want to push all your toggles down. So that's what that is. This one over here is I think this changes your what's this one do? I'm not sure what these two over here do. There are other YouTubers out there that actually go into detail on all those. But yeah, so the two main things you want to know is how to arm it and how to change your modes over here. So yeah, this is your left stick, which do the ailerons and your pitch, and then your yaw and your thrust over here. The gimbals, you can, just like all gimbals, you can adjust the height of the gimbal, whatever you feel comfortable, and your power button right here. So yeah, the radio, it feels really good. These gimbals feel a lot better than my gimbals on my radio. I'm really impressed with Beta FPV, how they did that. And then you have some grip over here, and over here on this side, that's your bind button and your setup. And then right here should be your battery port, but as you can see, there is no place to put a battery. It's open. So you can't put a battery in here. So yeah, that's your radio, and to power it on, you just hold this button in for a few seconds and it powers on the radio. So yeah, that's your radio. Let's put the gimbal things back on. And these are your goggles. The strap's actually in here. I'll go over what's inside there next. These are your goggles. They're box goggles. They come with the kit. They're pretty standard goggles. Cool thing about these goggles are, if you have old eyes, they actually, the lens or the screen in there is projected down to your eyes by a mirror. So the screen's actually up here, and they have a mirror that it bounces off the back of here, and it makes the image come out here to where your eyes are. So the good thing about that is it sets the image away from your eyes a little bit. So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool about what these goggles actually do. And I had to stand up for a little bit. Now I'm sitting back down. I have my tripod on my music stand because it's hard for, like, my camera doesn't have a very wide angle focus on here. And to get everything in view, I had to set my camera on this music stand. So I'm resting my arms on it. And I'll show you guys. Look, right here. Boom. That's my music stand. So I'm resting my arms on it, and it's actually shaking my camera all around. So that's why you see the little jolts and shakes in there. The pad, the foam on here, it's surprisingly comfortable for it being so small. The actual foam on the box goggles that come with the TinyGO is a little bit bigger. Actually, I like the foam on the box goggles better than the foam on this, but it's okay. They're kind of a small form factor. So if you have a big face, these might not be comfortable for you, and I don't think they fit over glasses very well either. So if you wear glasses, you might have to get you another pair of goggles if this is the kit that you want, or just go find another kit. Oh, there goes my thing. Just go find another kit that actually supports that's big enough for your glasses. Another cool thing, if you notice, there's no antenna on these goggles. The antenna is actually built in to the goggles. So that also means that you can't upgrade the antenna on these goggles, but the antenna on these goggles, I think it's pretty good. The downside to these goggles, I think it blows out light pretty well. So like whenever you're flying around like light, it'll be super bright, and it's hard to distinguish where the light source is coming from. So that's, a downside to these goggles. But, if you're new at it, crap, I just bumped into the whole thing. If you're new at FPV and you just want something to fly a drone around and actually see where your drone's going, this is perfectly fine. And for $189, that is a low price point to get all of this equipment getting in to the hobby. So it really isn't that bad at all. Over here, after I'm done with the whole unboxing thing, I'm going to take this off the stand and just put it straight on my desk again. So over here. Oh, what I didn't show you guys is down here. That's the manual, and it's a pretty thorough manual. So if you don't know anything about FPV, the BETAFPV actually goes into detail on how all of these items link up and everything. So if you read stuff, that's a pretty good read to actually understand how this works. So, but for my kid, I just explained to him because I know a little bit about FPV. So anyway, so this is your strap for the goggles. That's your strap that it comes with. It goes on your goggles. I'll put them on later. You have a USB-C cable right here. This USB-C cable does everything. It charges your goggles, it charges your radio, and it charges doesn't charge your drone. The batteries power your drone. But yeah, this USB-C does pretty much everything. So it's your USB-C cable. This thing right here, I'm super jealous about because I don't have a battery tester, and this is the charger for the 1S batteries that come with the kit, and it actually tests the voltage of the batteries. It's super cool. I could do that right now and show you. Yeah, I've got a spot on here that says test, and then this is just a charger. So if you stick the battery into the spot that says test, right in there, look at that, 4.26. So yeah, that's super cool. And obviously I charge these up, and you're not supposed to leave them in storage this high because it ruins 1S batteries. You're supposed to put like 3.8 volts per cell to actually store batteries. But yeah, 4.26, it's fully charged. So we're going to put some flights in on these batteries here in a minute. So yeah, it's a battery tester / charger. So you charge it on this side and you test them with that side over there. You got your little QR codes for BETAFPV, order products from BETAFPV and all that stuff, which is cool. And then the last thing in this package, well, no, not second last thing, is your other battery. It comes with 2 batteries. Prop removal tool to take your props off. And the last thing in this package, this right here, this is a package. It comes with 2, like I said, 2 motors. One's a counterclockwise motor, and the other one's a clockwise motor. You got 4 extra props, and inside this package, let me open it up. Hold on. Inside this package, this little thing. This thing actually comes, like, whenever you hook your quad up to Betaflight, you're supposed to have something on your quad to actually hook up to Betaflight. But this one, it's so small, and the build's so compact, it doesn't have anywhere to put a USB-C cable on there. So what you do is you take this right here, and there's a little, this has 4 pins. It's a 4-pin connector right there on the end. And right in there, that's where you plug it up to. And it's pretty easy to plug up in there. We'll just do it right now. It's so awkward going over this. So yeah, you just plug it right up in there. And press it down in there, and now you could plug your USB-C cable up to it and do modifications on this drone in Betaflight. So yeah, that's how you hook your drone up to your computer and all that stuff to flash it or whatever you want to do with your drone. So yeah, you just unplug it, it just plugs in and plugs out. It's really super easy. So just don't bend these little connectors, or keep this in a spot to where it's not gonna get smashed or bent. All right, so that's everything in the kit, and now we're going to set up this drone and do a test flight, do a hover, and set it up and do a flight around this house. So, yep. I got all the pieces out here. I'm not going to put the straps on the goggles because I will not be using these goggles for this review for me to put it on my face. But whenever I link it all up, I'll show you how it looks inside the goggles Hopefully I could put this up here closer to the camera right here. Hold on, find that lens. You can see how the mirror works up there. There's the actual screen and it projects it down. So I'll show you how that actually looks in the goggles on the camera, and then I'll get the DVR off my goggles to show you the actual flight. So yeah, so let's link this up real quick. So you take your little battery, and the battery actually goes into the bottom down here. It has a little spot that the battery just slides right in there. And you could take the connector over here, and you plug it up right here, and powers the drone right on. If you notice, there's no antenna on here. It's a micro quad. Well, it's a whoop. So the antenna is actually on the board underneath the canopy. There's no antenna that actually sticks out. So the reception on here, I'm not sure it goes very far. But yeah, so that's where the antenna is. So the quad's on. So what we do over here to bind the radio to it, you just turn your radio on, hold that in for a couple seconds. It's gonna flash and then turn to blue. Oh, hold on. Hold that in for a couple seconds. Let it be blue. Makes that noise. Flashing red. Now it's bound. So the radio is actually bound to the quad. You hear the boo-da-da, and this isn't flashing anymore, and your radio is solid blue as well. So now the radio and the quad are bound. So to turn this one on, you just come over here. You got a little switch. This isn't a button, it's a switch. You flip that switch, turn your goggles on right there. And there's the goggles right there. And to find the image in the FPV drone, you just press this little search button right here. Beep once. Hold it in. I'm sorry. You just press it once. It'll actually switch the bands. You hold it in. Let it beep, and then there you go. Hold it in, and there is our image for the goggles right there. So then you see my little thing. So like what I was saying about how it blows out the light. Look, if I push this up to my light source up here, where is it at? See how like bright that is? You can't see, like it just blows out the light. You can't see where, well, you can barely even see the fan in the goggles. But yeah, right now it's in normal mode. Let's put it down here, but it's an okay camera. Like you can see out of it. Right now it's in normal mode. And if you flip this switch over here on the radio right here, we're not gonna flip out of, that's in sport mode. And then this is like acro mode, manual mode. So you got normal, which it has that little sensor in it, sport, and manual. Oh, that's what these do over here. This thing right here, let's push that all the way down like that. Oh, that just switched my channel. So that's what this does. We just figured out what this actually does. So let's switch down to that one. And we actually switched the channel on here. Hold that in. Find, search where there it is. We got a video again. That other video was actually better. Yeah, that other video was better. Anyways, so that switches your channel on your radio. So up here, this actually switches your rates to where, like, if this one is like the slowest rates, and once you get better, you could switch up these. See how it says mid and fast? Those are fast rates. Mid rates, these are slow rates. So that the rates actually, what they do is it makes it to where this, this is actually heating up because I'm not flying it right now. Let's unplug the battery right now while I'm discussing this. So the rates actually move the quad around. So right as it was bound, armed, and we could have flew it around. So yeah, so that's the goggles. We're going to turn the goggles off. We don't need that linked anymore. So yeah, just hold this button right in. I really don't. I think this just searches, like whenever you click it once, this searches what channel you want it to be on to find the actual video out of the drone. So yeah, that's the goggles right there. And we're going to be actually using my goggles to do this review, this flight. And this is the drone. This is the remote. So yeah, this remote actually can bind to other quads too, because it's D8 protocols, I think, inside this remote, if I'm not mistaken. If it's something else, I'm telling you guys the wrong thing, and you guys look it up, please tell me and let other people know in the comments what this quad actually does. But all in all, my quad that I got, my TinyGO, I still, like, if you have $300 to spend on a kit for the 4K, I would still rather this quad. If you're serious about getting into FPV. If you're not serious and you're not sure if you want to get into it or not, the BETAFPV Cetus is a really good quad to get into. I got my kit it. He likes it. You can fly it around. It's a super inexpensive way to get into FPV. So here in a minute, I'm going to do a hover, and then we're actually going to go into a flight, and I'll show you how this flies around the house. All right, guys. So the quad's connected to the controller, and we're just going to put that arm it by pulling this little toggle up on the switch, and then it's actually in normal mode, so it's going to take a little bit on the throttle to actually get it up into a hover. So, oops. Oh, come on, hover. Anyways, so that's the hover on it, and I don't have enough room on this desk to actually push it up high. So let's actually try to do that. Okay. It's hovering now up. It was getting, hold on, bring it down into view. I wish it wouldn't get the dirty air from the desk so low to the ground. Here, hold on. Let's pull this camera up so you can actually see the hover. There's the hover. Oh, it's almost gonna hit me in the face. Line of sight, dude. Okay. Come on, don't hit that. There we go. Let's do it again. Oh, crap. Anyways, that's it on hover. You'll see my flights better in the FPV, like in the goggles. So yeah, my line of sight needs a little bit of work, but yeah, that's the quad at hover. All right, guys. Next up, we're gonna take this out and we're gonna fly it around and do a little flight test on it. I'll try to do it in all the different modes so we can get a good. The manual mode is going to be kind of hard for me because I can barely do acro on this thing indoors, but yeah, I'm going to try to do it on all the modes so you guys can see what it actually does and how it actually flies around. So yeah, you're going to see my DVR footage here in a second. All right, guys, so I'm going to do a little voiceover while we're flying this around the house. So yeah, I'm going to try to talk you guys through like all the different things that are going on in the drone while I'm flying it around. If you look over there, the volts are 4.12 volts per cell. That's like it at fully charged. So yeah, you can see in my bathroom over there with the toilet seat up. That's fantastic. Fun stuff right there. Anyway, so I take off right here, and I'm not used to this little drone. You can see I'm kind of like bobbing around. I'm not as comfortable as I am with my TinyGO whenever I'm flying that around. But it is in the sport mode, looks like it, S mode. So I have it on sport. I don't have it on normal right now. I'm flying it around in sport, and it's on slow rates. I didn't change my rates up at all in this video, so I have them on slow rates the whole time. If you guys get this drone and you want to fool around with the rates, you can, but I just left it on slow. You can see my drone's going up and down a lot, like my flight, and that's because of the little sensor. I have this little sensor enabled. I just switched it to manual in mode right there. But yeah, so I'm banging into I'm really doing a beating on this drone so you guys can see how well it holds up. Back down in sport mode. So I don't think I even flew it in normal mode, so that's why I'm like bouncing all around. I didn't even notice that in this flight. But yeah, normal mode is supposed to give you a good hover. Sport mode like this, you're pretty much flying it around with it's like an angle mode on any other quad. So you have your pitch stabilization, but you could still your throttle management, you're still able to figure out your throttle. So I tried to go through this little loop with this one, and I wasn't able to get it. It was not making it past that little Bowser statue. I was trying to wiggle it out without having to get it up and move it. A good practice is if you get stuck, just get up and move your drone. I flipped it over. I had to get up anyways and come flip this little drone over. So yeah, the flight time on this drone on one battery, because I started at 4.12 volts, you don't want to run the battery lower than 3.4 volts per cell. So the flight time was around 3 minutes. So I mean, that really ain't bad, 6 minutes. And then the batteries charge up super fast. It took like about 12 minutes for the batteries to charge up, and then you could, fly it again. So yeah, I'm just, flying it by my son. He's playing on his little tablet there, flying it over his head. Yeah, just flying it around, trying to show you guys, where it's actually, like, what it actually does. Flying around my little chair. I tried to go up underneath my desk. I was going to go through my little gap I have over there on that desk, but I was not I did not feel comfortable doing that with this little guy, because you can see it kind of bounce it around, and I guess it's because that little optical sensor underneath there is sensing the ground or sensing the objects underneath it, and it accounts for that. So like, it gives it a little bit more thrust. So I land on my couch here, and then I bring it over to my desk and I switch it to actual manual mode, and I fly it around with manual mode. Now, there is a way you could turn the optical sensor off, and you have to go into the settings of the drone, and to do that on your controller, I forgot to tell you guys this inside the video, but on your left stick, you put both sticks to the center, and on your left stick, you move your left stick over to the left, and on your right stick, you push it up at the same time, and it should bring up your menu, and you could go into the settings and change the optical flow sensor off to where you don't have that on while you're flying your drone around. But yeah, the picture's pretty good. Flying it around, I'm inside the back room, so you could see I still got good picture in this drone, and you could still see, like, up at that light, the lights are still I'm bouncing and everything, flying in manual mode. The lights are still blown out, and that's because of the actual camera. It's not the goggles. But yeah, guys. All right, guys. So as you can see, I just did the flight. It wasn't that well of a flight. I'm not used to the only drone I'm actually used to is this one right here. And yeah, this one, I don't know. To me, I banged it around a lot, which was a good test. And it banged up into the side of a little toy that Santa brought our youngest son. Santa brought this for the oldest, and Santa brought that little racetrack in there for the youngest. And it banged around in there quite a bit, and it still looks good. The props are still fine. It flipped over and everything. It's a pretty good, sturdy drone. Like I said, the camera angle, it takes a little bit getting used to, because it's gonna whip around and fly around if you want it level. But yeah, it was. I think it's a pretty good drone for a beginner. If you're just getting into FPV, you could use it to, like, do line of sight at first, and then put some goggles on and actually fly it around. So yeah, if you guys like this video and you guys want to see some more, I do have more videos planned for the future on this channel. I've got some stuff coming in the mail that I'm pretty excited about, and I'm pretty sure you guys are going to like it too. So if you guys aren't subscribed already, go ahead and subscribe to the channel so you can see all of that awesome content that's going to be here in the future. And yeah, guys, thanks for staying to the end of this end of this video, and thanks for stopping by, guys. Y'all have a good one. Alright, guys, just so you know how tight a gap this was, look at this. Look how close it had to come. Like, it got stuck here. It's like, and then you have to tilt it forward like this. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's a super tight gap. I made this though. I made this gap with my TinyGO. So, yep. Super tight gap.